Welcome to our special edition of 630 Central that's all about saluting heroes. That's our monthly series where we highlight people in the community who are helping veterans, active military, first responders, and of course their families. So we're going to recap some of our stories along that theme, beginning with a banquet for young people who are just seeking that support as they start their military journey.
We gather here today to recognize those who have chosen to serve our country. We are grateful for their selfless commitment and devotion to duty.
An invocation at the start of a unique ceremony and the start of new life chapters.
Tonight was a night that we said thank you to the class of 2023 high school seniors who have made the decision, the selfless decision, to put their country before themselves by enlisting in the military after graduation.
Dr. Ken Hartman is the founder and president of a group called Our Community Salutes. The New Jersey native has worked for 15 years to honor soon-to-be high school graduates who have enlisted in the military.
And I discovered that we were doing nothing for the kids who were enlisting. Kids who are doing ROTC or going to the academies, they got recognized. I was one of those kids many, many years ago. But for the kids who are going right into the military back in 2009, going off to war, we were doing nothing.
This is the first time an Arkansas chapter of Our Community Salutes has held this ceremony. Retired Army Colonel Harold Tucker saw Dr. Hartman's efforts in other places and knew he needed to bring it here.
We started looking around and saying, let's do this, because we need to recognize these enlistees, because all they're getting right now prior till today was just a slap on the back saying, get on the bus, thank you, have a good day.
Colonel Tucker hints at a purpose behind the pageantry. Recruiting for the military is tough right now. Getting younger people to sign up is difficult. And then when they do get on the bus to basic training, many will want to quit. A sign of support up front, like the challenge coins they receive, can help.
They'll always remember this. I mean, those kids they'll get these coins out when they get out of their lockers, and they'll say, I can't go back and let my community down.
Because I spent a lot of time working with our veterans and thanking them for their service. But what a treat and a privilege it is for the community to come together tonight and say thank you to those who are enlisting.
Moms and dads get some support too. They're facing fears along with their kids. Everyone in the crowd benefits from getting a down payment on the thank yous for the benefits they will bring to the country.
Whether you go on active duty or serve in the Guard or reserves, it doesn't matter. You're serving your country, and that's what we're here for.
That's how special you are. So thank you.
The VA and the military, they provide so much for the families, but there comes a limit.
No one wants to place limits on the love and support extended to the people who become part of a group no one hopes to join. But once you're a Gold Star family, that lasts forever, and forever is a long time.
There are some circumstances and some situations where they need a little extra help, whether it's household repairs, electricity bills, food, gas, and just getting together as survivors, a survivor support group.
Those circumstances are what prompted Andrea Fisher to take action. She founded Hearts of Our Heroes earlier this year, filling gaps that surviving families didn't see coming.
The biggest challenge for them is making sure that their loved one is never forgotten and staying connected with other survivors that have experienced the same type of loss.
While they face that challenge, Hearts of Our Heroes does the legwork. They host events like making sure the latest POW MIA Day is recognized at the state's highest levels. They hold picnics and holiday parties, fellowship events. Then they backstop some when they face struggles on the days in between.
We've had 2 survivors that needed new roofs, and so we were able to partner with another organization to replace the roofs on both of their houses. We had a survivor that was wheelchair bound, not able to leave his house, so we partnered with another local community organization and built a ramp to his house, so he is now free to come and go from his house.
Fisher comes from a military family. Her grandfather survived a POW camp in World War II. Dad served in Vietnam. Her husband is 23 years under his Army hat. For her part, she worked for the DOD and has a background in nonprofit management. You might say she's got a head for the work, but she says it's hardly work when it comes from the heart.
They sacrifice day in and day out, and we want to make sure that we keep that awareness within the community. We want to make sure that they're honored, and they feel that it's a great way for them to stay involved, and so having that opportunity to continue to do that now is extremely important.
Still to come on this Saluting Heroes special, stories from those who show up in our worst moments, the first responders heroically saving lives every day.
at least on a weekly basis, there's weekly, if not daily basis, I mean, in the EMS field that could make a grown man cry, football player or not.
Emergency medical techs don't usually do it in front of 65,000 people, but they perform heroic actions, often using methods that are downright frightening.
And this isn't an easy job. A lot of people can't do this job. They don't want to do this job.
Making the ones that do want the job precious.
There are people who want to help folks, and this is a great place for them to get in and help folks. And when we get them in, we want to keep them.
That's why the trade organization for the state's ambulance companies, your MEMS, your LifeNets, Pafford, are teaming up with the rank-and-file EMTs to help them after the call.
That's just our mindset. We want to go help other people, so we're not always real good about slowing down and realizing, hey, we need to receive the help that we're used to giving.
Amanda Newton is president of the Arkansas Ambulance Association. Her whole career has been riding in emergency vehicles and now running an ambulance company. And together with Casey Jones, they lead what are called critical incident stress management teams.
People really think they're heroes and think that they're made of iron, but they're not. We're life and flesh and blood, and we weren't designed to see the things we see.
Supervisors are now on alert, and crews are now being taught that when they do see these awful things, mass casualty events, things involving kids, things involving colleagues, don't hesitate.
We try to make initial contact with the responders on scene within the first 24 hours just to kind of touch base, make sure they're okay. Within the next 24 to 72 hours, we try to have a formal debriefing meeting where we bring them in and discuss the incident.
Maumelle firefighter and EMT Patrick McIntyre knows airing it out quickly is important.
Talking to others, a lot of times, I mean, it's peer-to-peer, you can talk it out, and it's not good to bottle it up.
These professionals have learned stress management lengthens, even saves careers, at a time when we need career lifesavers back out there saving lives.
We tell them you need to guard your calling by accepting the resources that are there to help you to guard that, because you want to be able to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.
It's all about coping skills and understanding that, there are things and there's people out here to help them, to talk to them, to assist them as they go through their life's trauma.
Firefighting is inherently dangerous. It doesn't discriminate between paid and volunteer.
A point hammered home at the Firefighters Memorial in Little Rock. Chief Dalton Shannon and Captain Jordan Morris took time out during the busy dry season.
The continued dry out has been a difficulty for a lot of us. We provide coverage out of one station, one engine, one truck company, a tanker, and a command vehicle.
Morris and Shannon lead the charge when calls come into any of the 19 volunteer fire departments across and around Pulaski County. There's an obvious difference between the city professional fire departments and what these guys and gals do. They all serve the public, but pros get paid, and the demands vary when the crews aren't standing by in a station.
Members get pages in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day. They respond to their stations, get on a piece of equipment, and respond to that call.
But the cost of that equipment they get on is the same in Little Rock or Oak Grove, and right now it's expensive.
Pricing a new fire truck, we're looking at between $600,000 and $750,000 for a new fire engine. Just to outfit an individual firefighter can range anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 a firefighter.
And that means sometimes the heroes of your local volunteer service are the ones finding the funds for the equipment in between fighting fires.
We typically have firefighters that have gained experience solely for the purpose of obtaining funds for the fire department. Myself included, began writing grants because of the necessity for the fire department. We have to apply for those. We have to go out and find those.
But whether it's behind a desk or behind a hose, there's a sense of service to what these men and women do. The County Firefighters Association recently honored 2 lifelong volunteers. It's not unlike the spirit that moves some to join the military.
You have a lot of type A personalities. You've got to have that type of person that is willing to go towards the danger, that's willing to take action when it's needed.
It's that giving back, it's the sense of community, and I think that's what draws a lot of firemen. It's not just me, it's not just Crystal Fire Department, but all of our 17 departments in this county, it's that giving back. It's that sense that even for a moment, we made a difference in somebody's life on their worst day.
How do we memorialize a hero? Arkansans are making it their mission to keep history alive as this Saluting Heroes special continues on THV 11.
My family had no problem buying meat for Christmas. was always fire trucks.
And now, after more than 50 years in the fire service, it's still easy to shop for Bob Franklin. Just tell him you're cleaning out a fire station anywhere in Arkansas.
And we started having fire departments calling us saying, hey, we have this old stuff, you want it? And so it's just kind of gone from word of mouth.
The word on the streets that started going around, Franklin and his retired firefighter buddies are putting together a museum. There's something similar in MacArthur Park in Little Rock. It's in a historic old building and even includes a hostel. But Franklin is thinking bigger.
A statewide museum representing the 836 fire departments across the state that represent the 14,000 firefighters across Arkansas.
So for 3 years, Franklin, along with his wife and buddies, have been filling this warehouse in Shannon Hills with all things firefighting from all kinds of time periods.
Air packs. This is an air pack from the World War II era. Everything behind the steering wheel was wood, the body and everything. The oldest helmet we have, this is 1891.
The goal of all this gathering is a couple of years off, but Franklin says a plan is in place.
We're working with the city of North Little Rock on when they build their new central fire station of moving the fire museum into the old central fire station in the Jena Historic District.
They've set up a nonprofit to handle donations and grants. That's important because they want to offer something more than dusty antiques.
So the oxygen bottles have got 1948 oxygen in them.
They want to educate and illuminate.
Besides having an apparatus room with trucks in it that the kids can see and climb on, we're going to have an education center where we can teach fire safety classes.
Because Franklin is sure the key to sparking the desire to save lives and property lies in that moment where kids discover the power of these tools and toys.
It's a very noble profession. I've got 52 years in the fire service. I'm still active, and getting to see their faces when they see something that is over 70 years old and it still works. This disc would tap out the code on a telegraph.
December 7, 1941 was when we got involved in the war, and so this was March 12, 1943.
15 months after a day that will live in infamy, a wartime tragedy came to Grant County, Arkansas, far from the World War II front lines.
By the time they circled and started to come down to make a landing, the engine was on fire so bad, and the plane was breaking apart basically.
Nelson Mears is well versed in the crash of an American B-17 80 years ago. He's the historian for this hidden memorial, a replica of the plane that springs up along the side of a county road outside Sheridan.
I wanted to find out about the 9 guys that died here, the crew members, and I wanted to find out why the plane crashed here.
For a dozen years, community leaders and members of American Legion Post 30 have brought something that seems more of a footnote from the war back into full view.
The plane is almost full scale, and we had a lot of this. The biggest part of it was done by work release inmates from the jail. We worked 4, 5, 6 years from the original dirt work to completion.
And that completion is a far cry from what stood here before. A modest stone noting the 9 flyboys, emphasis on boys, the oldest among them just 26 years old. According to Mears, the flight was doomed and the crew knew it. They would fly from Kansas to Florida to join another squadron and rush overseas to join the fight. But in the rush, the plane's engines were faulty. Letters from the crew say as much. But despite that knowledge, the plane took off, facing as much danger as if ordered to make a run over enemy anti-aircraft.
The goal was the mission and defeat the Germans and the war effort. They were willing to sacrifice so many of them. And the crew members would fly planes that they knew were bad.
Mears keeps in touch with the surviving family members. Before the replica and park, he says they associated this place with sadness. But now, that's changed.
All of the family members appreciate the fact that their loved ones that died in this crash are not forgotten. They're forever part of Grant County. They're part of our community now in the earth.
Up next, heroes finding their voice. How a local group turns tough moments into beautiful music. We'll be right back.
And I come from a long line of those who put it all on the line.
A hit song finds a way to speak to and for a lot of people. But these guys prove a song can be powerful even for an audience of one.
I knew I had freedom, come back and raise my kids.
Freedom is at the heart of this tune by Paul Tull and Don Tucker. They're part of an organization called Freedom Sings Arkansas.
We pair veterans with songwriters, and we allow the veteran to tell their military story. We take the song from their own words, 100% approved by the veteran, and then we have the song recorded.
The process is rarely about vanity, nor is it about posterity. For the people who sign up, it's often a form of therapy.
A lot of them, that's the first opportunity they've had to share that story, because a lot of them hold it in. And so a lot of the veterans find it therapeutic just to get the story out.
It was gut-wrenching.
Carlos Cervantes describes what the process felt like when he sat down to turn two troubling Vietnam memories into music. One about a racist comrade, another about watching an officer die. Kinds of stuff that years of psychiatric help couldn't crack, but 3 bars and a chorus somehow does.
So it was gratifying, peaceful, something that had to be said, and to relieve myself.
The local chapter is part of a national organization with some high-powered Nashville songwriters signed on. Steve Dean is an Arkansas native with 6 Billboard chart toppers to his credit. Don Goodman wrote Blake Shelton's Old Red and Alabama's Angels Among Us.
That's where the Red Hog got his name.
You can catch Tucker and Tull playing for audiences big and small around here. That pays their bills, but Freedom Sings seems to offer a bigger payoff.
We write with Gold Star families, we write with active military personnel. We just want to tell your military story in your own words.
More than once asked the Lord to show me the light as I won another fight in Vietnam and landed right back here in the promised land.
We want to thank Rainwater, Hoyt, and Sexton for all their support of this program throughout the year, and we want to thank you for watching.